I won $333 million in the lottery, pretended to be broke, only my grandson knew. The lottery ticket sat in my hand, crumpled and ordinary like any other. Numbers matched. All six. $333 million. My heart didn't race. My stomach didn't churn. I simply stared at the ticket, a calmness settling over me like a thick fog. Outside, the world moved on. Cars honked, children laughed, neighbors shouted trivial greetings. None of it mattered. I folded the ticket and tucked it into my wallet. No one could know. I thought of my estranged children, their constant excuses, their thinly veiled greed. Friends who borrowed money and vanished. My wife, long gone. They were irrelevant now. Only Sam, my 12-year-old grandson, could know. I found him in the kitchen, drawing quietly at the table. "Grandpa," he asked, glancing up. His eyes were sharp, curious. "I won," I whispered. His eyes widened, but he didn't scream, didn't panic. "We pretend we didn't," I said. "Can you do that for me?" He nodded. That nod was more than a promise. It was an understanding, a pact. I would live as if I were poor. I would watch. I would test the world. I would expose greed and loyalty, all with Sam by my side. Because sometimes the real prize isn't money, it's knowing the truth about everyone else. It started almost immediately. Carl, my overly friendly neighbor, stopped by. "Hey, how's it going?" he asked, slapping my shoulder. I smiled thinly. "Same as always." He glanced at my worn-out lawn, my peeling paint. "You've let things slide." I laughed softly, letting him see exactly what I wanted, an old man forgotten by fortune. Inside, I cataloged every interaction, every subtle attempt to exploit. Friends, family, even strangers revealed themselves in small, telling gestures. My daughter Jane called. "Dad, can you help with the renovations?" I sighed. Things are tight. I can't spare a dime. She grumbled, threatened, pleaded, yet she never suspected the truth. Even Sam noticed. "Grandpa, she's asking again," he said one evening. "Yes," I said calmly. "Watch, learn. The world is revealing itself, piece by piece." I began keeping track. The neighbors who offered help without reason. The ones who asked for loans they never repaid. The strangers who assumed I had wealth hidden somewhere. And all of it fed a quiet satisfaction. Observation was power. Patience was power. I was untouchable, unseen, yet omniscient. The world was showing its true face, and I would wait. Weeks passed. Every interaction became a test. The mailman asked to borrow for a lunch he claimed he couldn't afford. I shook my head. Carl offered to manage my finances, for a small cut, he said. I declined politely. Even strangers played their part. I left a wallet with a few dollars on my porch, casually. Who would take it? Who would resist? I watched from inside, hidden, cataloging behavior. Sam became my partner. He carried notes, remembered faces, observed carefully. "Grandpa," he asked once, "why are you letting everyone show their worst side?" "Because," I said, "truth is more valuable than money, and people show it when you make them think you're weak." I dreamed of spending the money, yes, Ferraris, islands, extravagant homes, but it was unnecessary. Patience held more pleasure. The subtle betrayals were more satisfying than any luxury. Jane, my daughter, began calling more frequently, each conversation dripping with expectation, entitlement. "Dad, I need help. Really, I do," she pleaded one night. I smiled inside. She had revealed herself. She assumed weakness. She had no idea. Sam watched quietly as I navigated these small battles, learning the dance of deception and observation. His eyes, always calculating, mirrored my own. We became shadows in plain sight. The world unmasked itself, unaware we were the observers. The revelation came as it always does, quietly, unnoticed. Jane stopped by unannounced. Her smile was practiced, her voice light. "Dad, I just know you're holding back. Don't play games with me." I remained calm, neutral, detached. "Really, Jane? What could I possibly be hiding?" Her eyes narrowed. "I know. You're better off than you pretend." Inside, I cataloged her every word, every expression. Entitlement, greed, self-interest. I said nothing more. No confession. Not yet. Even Carl returned, seeking advice about investments. "You always had a knack for money," he said, assuming ignorance. I smiled politely. "I'm afraid I've learned the hard way. Best not to meddle." Sam's eyes gleamed with understanding. Every lesson absorbed, every manipulation noted. The truth had been verified. The game had reached its climax. Everyone who assumed I was weak had been revealed. Everyone who thought they could exploit me had shown their nature. And only Sam had been loyal, vigilant, and perceptive enough to see the full picture. The final act was surgical. Jane called, requesting a loan. I agreed, but only with conditions. "Sign this. Everything you borrow will be legally documented and repaid with interest." Her face froze. "Dad, what are you?" I interrupted. "I told you. Observation teaches lessons. You volunteered the proof yourself." Carl returned, seeking advice. Again I declined, polite but firm. Everyone who assumed weakness, who sought to exploit me, felt the sting of reality. The $333 million remained untouched. My world, quiet and invisible, had been carefully observed. Sam learned everything, not just about money, but about human nature, about patience, strategy, and the power of calm control. The lesson was far greater than wealth. It was about understanding the world. I sat in my old chair, Sam at my side. The house was silent, peaceful. "Grandpa," he asked softly, "will you ever spend it?" I shook my head. No. The lesson was never the money. It was the truth, and we've learned it. Sam smiled, knowing. The world had been revealed, and I had cataloged every detail. No enemies, no disappointments, only clarity. When the truth emerged, it would not matter. The world had already shown its face. And Sam, the only one truly loyal, understood the value of observation, patience, and strategic thinking. I smiled, cold, detached, victorious. Some lessons are priceless. Some victories are quiet. And some truths are better observed in silence.
How could you do this?